About that. Am I live? Is Doc live? I don't know. Me in person. Can somebody actually see themselves or just a reflection of them? I can see my hand, but I can't see my own eyes. Hey, everybody. 100 Days of Doc. We've taken a look at some of the news for all us weedies in the news. And this isn't, a feed just for people who already know all about the benefits of cannabis and CBD and every other cannabinoid out there. This is actually a blogcast just for the hell of it because I like to read the news. I'm actually a writer too, so it's kind of an occupational thing to stay abreast of what's going on out there. And one of the most interesting things that's happening is one of the latest and greatest states to join the recreational legalization binge, and that's Illinois. The year 2020 dawned with thousands of people lined up, some overnight, waiting to be among the first to buy legal recreational marijuana. Legal recreational weed in Illinois. Long strange year comes to an end. People are lined up with food at food banks to get coronavirus nasal swabs, and in some cases, to be among the first to receive a vaccine that may mark the beginning of the end of the COVID 19 pandemic. And people are still buying weed. Lots and lots of weed because we all know it's essential, don't we? I do. Despite the massive economic disruption, though, wrought by this pandemic, 80 recreational cannabis dispensaries have opened in Illinois alone in 2020. And business is on pace to top, are you ready? Get this, $1 billion in 2020, in 1 year, $1 billion, including medical marijuana sales. The industry could get a lot bigger in 2021 with more municipalities welcoming weed retailers and 30 dispensaries yet to open under the state's inaugural legislation. A planned lottery to award 75 new recreational licenses is also likely to move forward after the state agreed to give hundreds of successful applicants a second chance to qualify. As dozens of new stores open on the main streets and the malls across the state, customer demand is expected to be fueled by new users such as suburban soccer moms and seniors returning to marijuana and social drinkers ready to trade in their beer or wine for the big buds and the big buzz and the healthy buzz. We can talk about that in great length, just how deleterious alcohol can be and prescription drugs. Way too many side effects. With weed, you really don't have any at all. The consumer segment grows by the canna curious, those who haven't tried cannabis or need to be introduced to regulated products becoming active consumers, not by existing customers upping the amount they are now consuming. That's right, we want to bring new people into the fold, which is one of the reasons why I actually have a website that I'm putting together called Granibus, and it specifically caters to the grandparent age cannabis consumer or cannabis curious. Are you canna curious? Feel free to get in touch with me. I know just about everything there is to know about it, including how it can be used to treat the effects of entropy, something that gets to us all. So, back to the Illinois story. When Illinois legalized recreational weed on January 1st, it allowed each of the 55, I believe it is, the 55 medical dispensaries. Oh, it's medical only, it's not recreational. Each of the 55 medical dispensaries to add adult use sales at their existing location and open a second adult use location, creating up to 110 dispensaries. And actually, it has gone to adult use. So well done, Illinois. Cheers. Doc Beanz kind of wrapping up some of the 100 days of doc willing to cater. That's one of the things that as well as entertain. So, on day one of the recreational pot era in Illinois, there were 37 dispensaries open for free. That total during the course of the year. Illinois has licensed dispensaries as according to Paul. Little Jamiroquai jamming in the background. So, filling the shelves at the state's growing roster of dispensaries falls to 21 licensed cultivation centers in Illinois. Marijuana sold in Illinois must be homegrown, with licenses for 40 smaller craft growers. Yet to see when that comes online. We'll have to interview some of those craft growers and find out just what it was like to get their license there in Illinois. Illinois generated nearly 106 million in combined recreational and medical marijuana sales in November. In 1 month, 106 million in sales. That topped the 913 million, topping 913 million. So they're at 913 million as of November. With 1 month to go, actually, it's over now, in the first adult use cannabis sales, according to the state. So we'll have to see where they came in. We'll have to see whether or not they broke $1 billion. The three largest Illinois marijuana companies, Cresco, Green Thumb, and Verano Holdings, have a stake in the nascent business from seed to sale and are all gearing up for explosive growth in 2021. Boom! I might just have to come visit Chicago again. Go for a little weed tour there in the Windy City. Ben Kovler, Green Thumb's founder and CEO, projects Illinois will hit 140 million in a month in combined sales in 2021, on the way to 250 million a month, or about 3 billion annually as the market matures in the coming years. 3 billion a year for Illinois alone. Wake up, unincorporated states. You are missing out on a windfall. Some sales growth will come from new customers that look more like suburban seniors than sophomore stoners, Roedler said. And that's the people that I'm reaching out to talk to. I am actually one of those senior people that is in the market. According to Kevlar, he said it's not the 20-year-old male and over female. Hey, what does that leave me? It's a 50 and over female. That's dominant. That's a customer. Okay, so my mom and her cohorts who are having trouble sleeping are going to be the ones that are checking out the Illinois adult use dispensaries. Kovler said Green Thumb is targeting a broad demographic of new users, from seniors in need of pain relief to millennials seeking an alternative social lubricant to wine or beer. Nearly 30% of people in states where cannabis is legal see weed as a replacement or substitute for alcohol, according to research firm Euromonitor. How about Amerimonitor? I don't know where Euromonitor is or why they're monitoring America, but they are. Euromonitor projects legal cannabis sales to more than triple to 98 billion globally by 2025. 98 billion. That's about a tenth of $1 trillion. Pretty interesting. So in 10 years, we could have $1 trillion in sales globally. U.S. wine sales topped $72 billion last year, according to Andrew Adam. He's the editor of Wine Analytics Report. He said that sales are projected to decline about 10% in 2020. Kovler is concerned there won't be enough weed to go around in 2021. So stock up now. You have to build more capacity, said Kevlar. There is huge demand, like off the charts demand, and not enough supply. Green Thumb, which reported $157 million in revenue during the third quarter, operates 51 retail stores and 13 manufacturing facilities across 10 states. Green Thumb is pretty big. That'd be the whole hand, the green hand. It includes 2 in Illinois. So that's kind of interesting. 2 manufacturing facilities in Illinois alone in just the 1 year that it's been up and running. Green Thumb has 9 adult use cannabis stores in Illinois, with plans to open its 10th in a yet to be determined Chicago area location in the first quarter. One of Green Thumb's competitors, Cresco, is already maxed out on retail locations in Illinois. So they're already filled to the brim. The publicly traded company opened its 10th Illinois dispensary last week in Naperville, the maximum allowed under state law. 3 dispensaries have in Naperville alone this fall, with Verano launching a Zen Leaf store on December 19th, last month, and Green Thumb opening Rise Naperville in October, 2 months ago. Excuse me. Cure thyself, Doc. I think I should do that. Let's see. 3 dispensaries have set up shop in Naperville alone this last fall, with Verano launching a Zen Leaf store on December 19th, and we already covered all that. The southwest suburb initially rejected recreational marijuana sales in September 2019, before a majority of voters supported it in a March referendum. Cresco manufacturers, distributors, and they operate 20 dispensaries in 6 states under the Sunnyside. CEO and founder Charlie Batchel said Illinois needs to open more dispensaries to grow its customer base and compete with the liquor industry, which has a much broader retail footprint. It's still inconvenient, Batchel said during a recent cannabis investor summit. You still have people that are driving an hour and a half in order to patronize one of these facilities. I might drive 7 hours to get away from my underground, undisclosed mountain lair, which may or may not be in a legal area. Cresco stands to gain from an increase in weed shops in Illinois, since its core business is as a manufacturer and supplier of branded cannabis products to other retailers. Cresco reported $153 million in sales during the third quarter, generating significant revenue as a wholesaler to more than 830 dispensaries across the country. Cresco has 16 cultivation and production facilities in 9 states, including 3 in Illinois. The manufacturing facility in Joliet, Kankakee, and Lincoln supply 25% of the Illinois retail cannabis supply, Bachtel said. The other major player in the Illinois cannabis market, Verano, has 4 Illinois dispensaries, with plans to open stores in Evanston, Highland Park, and Prospect Heights in the coming months. Bolstered by a previous announced merger, Verano is expanding to a 14-state operation with 8 cultivation facilities and 48 retail locations under the Zen Leaf and MUV brands. Is it MUV or MUV? I don't know. Which one is it? Verano announced plans December 15th to join Cresco and Green Thumb as publicly traded companies on the Canadian Securities Exchange. The companies are listed in Canada because weed is still a federally controlled substance in the US. Verano announced plans. We already talked about that. Ascend Cannabis Dispensaries operates the Metro East's first recreational retailer in Collinsville and has approval for another location in Fairview Heights in January of 2021. Bring it on, Fairview Heights. Jushi has two dispensaries in Sauger. But the political winds are shifting, with four more states approving recreational weed in November. It's now legal in 35 states, including 15 that now allow it for recreational use. President elect Joe Biden is expected to support marijuana reform, if not full legalization, to help normalize the industry and fuel its expansion. The U.S. weed market still has a long way to grow, with estimated revenues between $15.5 billion and $18.9 billion in 2020, according to the annual Marijuana Business Fact Book. That would put Illinois at about 6% of the total U.S. cannabis sales. While marijuana companies seek to cultivate new consumers, the biggest boost in Illinois for 2021 could come from the 75 new retail licenses in legislative limbo. A planned lottery to award the licenses was put on hold in September after dozens of applicants filed a federal lawsuit alleging that they were unfairly excluded from the selection process. The licensing was supposed to incorporate social equity considerations such as minority or female ownership, military service, and those who have been disproportionately affected by the war on drugs. In September, the state agreed to give applicants a second chance to qualify for the lottery, and the lawsuit was dropped, opening the doors to a new crop of dispensaries in Illinois. Way to go, Illinoisans. The lottery date is yet to be announced in 2021. According to Isaac, we'll have 75 more stores to sell our product into, Cresco spokesman Erks said. That drastically changes the demand structure of the state. It absolutely does. I'm really proud of you, Illinois. I'm happy that things are going so well for you. It looks like you're on counting up to see whether or not you've crossed over into $1 billion, and that's cool. Thank you for joining me for 100 Days of Doc. This was day 3. We're taking a look at weed in the news. Thank you, fellow weedies. If you like this, make sure you tell your friends and make sure that you subscribe. That would be very generous of you. And I will always try and keep you atop of the news in weed. Y'all take care of each other. Peace. Well, you know what? I got a couple minutes. So. How's everybody doing out there? Everybody keeping the pandemic at bay? For those of you who have been more greatly affected by this, my sincere condolences if you've lost somebody in particular. Doc has actually lost 2 people in my family. I lost the husband of a cousin of mine, as well as an aunt, who I was actually a flower boy for at her wedding. 72 years old is way too early to go. So hopefully everybody's taking care of each other out there. Wear your mask. Please wear a mask. The virus is real. The pandemic is real. The danger to high-risk people is real. It's even dangerous to people who aren't necessarily high risk. But just take care of each other, man. This pandemic will pass. And it's a lesson that we can learn as a species, quite frankly. Learning that we need to be able to take care of each other. Learning that we can't let the 1% of people take over the 90-something% of everything else. We don't necessarily have to follow by anybody's rules except for the rules that we dictate. We are the power. We are the people. Weed reformed. Guess what? Enough of us spoke up, and eventually it happened. Microphone's right in my face. And if we want more, if we want to release every single political prisoner that's ever been locked away for weed, guess what? We can do that. Y'all take care of each other. Peace.